Hello, my amazing learners, and welcome back to the Wisdom English podcast. My name is Sarah, and today we have an exciting episode that will help you improve your fluency in English. Have you ever found yourself stuck while speaking, thinking too much in your native language before you speak in English? Or maybe you've been translating words in your head, but it slows you down? Today, we're going to work on something that can truly change the way you speak English: how to stop translating and start speaking. This episode is perfect for anyone who wants to become more fluent by thinking directly in English. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because I'll reveal the simple secret that makes thinking in English an automatic, natural habit. Let me start with a quick question for you. Do you feel like you're translating everything when you speak English? I know a lot of learners face this issue. For example, a student of mine, also named Sarah, who is from Spain, told me that when she first started learning English, she would think of a sentence in Spanish and then try to translate it word for word into English. It made her nervous and much slower when speaking. But one day, Sarah had a conversation with her husband, and instead of translating in her head, she just started speaking naturally. She said that it felt much easier and more authentic. It's a big step, and it's something we're going to focus on today. Imagine this. You're in a coffee shop and you meet someone new. They ask you what you like to do in your free time. If you were to translate everything in your head, you'd probably end up hesitating and feeling unsure. But if you start thinking in English, you'll be able to answer confidently without stopping to translate. You might say, "I love hiking, especially in the mountains. I enjoy being surrounded by nature." It's simple, right? That's the magic of thinking directly in English. I remember when I was learning a new language, I used to translate in my head all the time. It felt like I was holding myself back. But then I decided to stop and just speak. The same applies to learning English. The less you translate, the more fluent you'll become. Now, let's dive deeper into how you can practice this in your everyday life. Imagine you're telling your husband or a friend about your day. Instead of thinking in your native language, just talk to them in English. For instance, you might say, "I went to the grocery store today and I found some fresh strawberries. I decided to make a smoothie later. It doesn't need to be perfect, but the more you do it, the better you'll become at thinking in English." Another great way to practice is by narrating your day in English. Every time you do something, like making breakfast or going for a walk, try to describe it in English. For example, "I just made my morning coffee, and it smells great. I'm getting ready to go for a run." The more you speak in English like this, the less you'll need to translate. Sometimes, when you start thinking in English, you'll realize that you don't need to use complex sentences. It's okay to speak simply. A student of mine, James, who recently moved to the United States, started telling his wife about his day in simple sentences. "I went to work. I met new people. We had lunch together." This simple practice helped him feel more comfortable speaking without overthinking. Here's a tip. If you're still struggling, try to learn phrases, not just individual words. This will help you think faster when speaking. For example, instead of thinking of each word individually, try to remember the whole phrase, "How are you today?" as one piece. This way, you'll sound more natural and confident when speaking. A few months ago, I had a conversation with another student, Rachel, who used to struggle a lot with speaking because she was constantly translating everything. But after practicing with simple sentences, she became more confident. One day, she said, "I met some new colleagues today, and we went out for lunch. I felt so comfortable speaking in English, and it felt great." The key here was that she stopped translating in her head and started thinking directly in English. Now that we've talked about how to stop translating and start speaking in English, let's dive into some ways you can practice this in real-life situations. Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to someone in English and you suddenly freeze because you can't remember the right word? This happens to a lot of learners, and it's usually because you're trying to translate in your head. A student of mine, Emma, faced this exact problem when she first moved to the UK. She would often pause during conversations, thinking about how to say things in English, instead of just letting the words come naturally. But Emma realized that the more she practiced speaking without worrying about perfect grammar or translation, the better she became at expressing herself. Let's think about a simple scenario. Imagine you're at the grocery store and you need to ask for help. You could be looking for a particular brand of cereal, and instead of thinking, "How do I ask for this in English?" try to speak directly, like this. "Excuse me, where can I find the cereal?" Just say it without overthinking. The more you practice situations like this, the more natural it will feel. Another great practice is to try shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a sentence in English and immediately repeat it out loud. For example, if someone says, "I'm going to the market later," you repeat, "I'm going to the market later." Doing this helps your brain adjust to thinking in English instead of translating. I've seen this technique work wonders for another student, Mark, who started practicing English by shadowing news reporters. He would listen to their sentences, pause, and repeat them, and it helped him speak faster and more naturally. Let's also look at how to stop overthinking when you're speaking. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about your grammar or vocabulary, but remember, the goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. When I started learning a new language, I always focused on trying to use perfect grammar, but that only made me nervous. After a while, I realized that it's okay to make mistakes. The important thing is to keep speaking and practicing. To make it easier, try to group words together. For example, instead of thinking of each word individually, try to remember phrases like, "How was your weekend?" or "I love going to the park." If you remember these common phrases, it will be easier for you to speak without having to translate word by word. Another way to practice thinking directly in English is by setting small challenges for yourself. For example, today, try to speak in English for at least 10 minutes without translating. You could talk to your family, your friend, or even yourself. The more you speak in English, the more confident you will feel. Let's think about real-life stories. One day, I was at the park with a friend of mine, another Rachel, and we were talking about our hobbies. I asked her, "What do you like to do in your free time?" Instead of translating, she just said, "I enjoy painting and hiking. It's relaxing and helps me clear my mind." It was such a simple answer, but it was natural and flowed easily because she didn't stop to translate. You can practice the same way. Think about a question like, "What's your favorite type of food?" Instead of thinking, "How do I say this in English?" just answer directly. "I love pasta." It's my favorite food because it's delicious and easy to make. It's also important to listen to real-life conversations in English. The more you hear, the more you'll get used to thinking in English. Try listening to podcasts, conversations, or even watching simple videos in English. The goal is to expose yourself to how native speakers use the language in everyday situations. Picture yourself at a bakery. You walk in, and you want to buy some bread. Instead of thinking in your native language and then trying to translate, practice saying it directly. Good morning. Can I have a loaf of bread, please? It's simple, polite, and easy. A student of mine, Daniel, practiced this every morning when he went to the bakery near his house. At first, he felt shy, but after a week of using English sentences naturally, he started feeling more confident. Now, think about talking to a new neighbor. Imagine you meet Mr. Johnson, who just moved into your building. Instead of worrying about translating the perfect greeting, just say, "Hello, welcome to the neighborhood. How are you today?" It's natural, friendly, and direct. One powerful method I recommend is practicing storytelling in English. Storytelling helps you organize your thoughts in English without translating. Start small. Talk about what you did yesterday. You could say, "Yesterday, I went to the park with my wife. We walked by the lake, watched the ducks, and had a picnic." When you practice telling short stories, you train your brain to think in English sentences, not word by word. Another important tip is to think in English during your daily activities. For example, when you're cleaning your house, try describing what you are doing. I'm washing the dishes. I'm sweeping the floor. I'm making the bed. These simple sentences help you stay in English without even realizing it. Let's do a practice together. Imagine you are at the post office and you need to send a package to your brother. You walk up to the counter and say, "Good afternoon. I would like to send this package to New York, please." The worker might ask you some simple questions like, "Do you want express delivery?" Or, "Do you need insurance?" Instead of worrying, just practice answering naturally. "Yes, please, express delivery." Or, "No, just regular delivery is fine." Now, another key point to remember is that it's okay if your English is not perfect. Native speakers are not expecting you to speak perfectly. They care more about understanding you and having a real conversation. A student of mine, Thomas, when he visited Canada, made a lot of small mistakes in English, but people still understood him and appreciated that he was trying. Every time he spoke, he became a little more confident. One useful technique is to create daily English challenges for yourself. For example, today's challenge could be to order food in English without translating. Tomorrow's challenge could be to describe your morning routine in English. Little by little, these challenges will push you to think and speak in English directly. Now, let's also talk about how to deal with new words you don't know. Sometimes, you might want to say something, but you don't know the exact English word. Instead of stopping the conversation, try to explain the word using simple English. For example, if you want to say thermometer, but forget the word, you could say, "The thing that measures temperature." This keeps the conversation going and helps you stay in English. It's also very helpful to think about conversations in advance. If you know you are going to meet someone or go to a place where you need English, Practice some sentences beforehand. If you're going to the library, you might practice saying, "I'm looking for a book about history." If you're going to a restaurant, you might practice, "Can I see the menu, please?" Let's practice again. Imagine you're at a bookstore. You want to find a book for your son. You could walk up to the clerk and say, "Good morning, I'm looking for a book for my son. He likes adventure stories." The clerk might ask, "How old is your son?" And you can reply, "He is 10 years old." This is a simple, natural conversation without stopping to translate. Another very good practice is role-playing with yourself or with a friend. Choose a situation, like shopping for clothes, visiting a doctor, or meeting a neighbor. Act out the conversation as if it were real. I also want to remind you that your thinking speed will improve over time. In the beginning, you might feel slow because your brain is adjusting to thinking in English. That's normal. Don't give up. Every small effort you make is helping you build a strong English brain. And remember, it's important to speak English out loud. Reading silently is good, but speaking out loud trains your mouth and brain together. If you practice speaking every day, even if you are alone, you will see fast improvement. Finally, trust yourself. You have the ability to speak English fluently. Every time you practice, you are getting closer to your goal. Now, let's go even deeper into using English naturally in real life. I want you to relax and imagine yourself living your everyday life in English. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep moving forward, one small step at a time. Let's start with a very normal situation. You are at a coffee shop. You walk in and smell the fresh coffee. You want to order a drink. Instead of thinking in your own language first, you speak directly in English. You smile at the worker and say, "Good morning. I would like a cup of coffee, please. Medium size, no sugar." Then maybe the worker asks, "Would you like anything to eat?" And you can answer, "No, thank you." This is simple, natural, and clear. A student of mine, David, when he first moved to London, was nervous about ordering food. He would think for a long time, trying to translate in his mind. Then he decided to practice simple sentences every day. After a few weeks of practice, David could order his coffee without any fear. Another everyday situation is meeting new people at work. Let's say you start a new job and meet your coworker, Mr. Carter. Instead of preparing a big, complicated introduction in your own language, you simply say, "Hi, I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you. I'm excited to work with you." Keeping it short and clear is the best way to think directly in English. Now, let's imagine you are going to a shop to buy some clothes. You find a nice jacket, but you are not sure about the size. Instead of translating a long sentence in your mind, you just ask, "Excuse me, do you have this jacket in a larger size?" Or if you want a different color, you can say, "Do you have this in blue?" It's also important to practice simple sentences at home. Let's say you are cooking dinner. As you chop vegetables, you say to yourself, "I'm cutting carrots. I'm boiling water. I'm frying chicken." Speaking these small sentences out loud helps you build natural English thinking. Another powerful method is practicing short conversations in your mind. For example, imagine you are going to visit your friend, Mrs. Parker. In your mind, you can practice, "Hi, Mrs. Parker, thank you for inviting me. "Your house is beautiful." Or if she offers you tea, you can say, "Yes, please, I would love some tea." I also recommend listening carefully to real-life English stories, just like the ones I share with you here. When you listen, don't try to translate every word. Focus on understanding the meaning. Then, try to retell the story in your own simple English. Even if you forget some parts, that's okay. The goal is to practice speaking and thinking naturally. Here's a little story for you to practice. Imagine my friend Matthew. He is a young father. Last weekend, Matthew took his wife and son to the countryside for a picnic. They packed sandwiches, fruit, and some juice. When they arrived, they found a nice spot near a small river. They played games, had lunch, and enjoyed the fresh air. At the end of the day, they felt very happy and relaxed. Now, can you try to tell this story back in your own words? Even a few simple sentences would be great practice. Now, let's talk about shopping at the market. Imagine you are buying fruits and vegetables. You pick up some apples and you want to know the price. Instead of translating, just say, "How much are these apples?" If you want to buy more, you can say, "Can I have 5 apples, please?" Another great practice idea is pretending you are giving simple instructions. Imagine you are helping a friend find your house. You can practice saying, "Turn left at the supermarket. Go straight for 2 blocks. My house is next to the bakery." Also, when you are with your family, you can practice English together. Maybe you can describe what you are doing. For example, "I'm setting the table," "I'm cleaning the windows," or "I'm helping my son with his homework." One more important situation is asking for help. Imagine you are lost in a new city. You see a police officer and need to ask for directions. You can practice saying, "Excuse me, can you help me find the train station?" Or, "Which way is the library?" Let's do another little story. Think about my friend Nathan. Last month, Nathan's wife asked him to buy a new table for their kitchen. Nathan went to a furniture shop. He found a nice wooden table. He spoke to the shop assistant and said, "I'm looking for a strong kitchen table." The assistant showed him a few options, and Nathan chose the one he liked best. He paid for it, and they delivered it to his house 2 days later. Nathan and his wife were very happy with their new table. Again, can you try telling this story back in your own words? Even a short version is perfect for practice. Remember, speaking English naturally is not about using big, fancy words. It's about using simple, clear sentences and trusting yourself. Every day you practice, your mind becomes a little faster and your mouth becomes a little more comfortable. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Also, do not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Every time you speak, even if you make mistakes, you are getting better. A student of mine, Charlotte, used to say, "Every mistake I make is a small step closer to fluency." And she was right. Today, she speaks English confidently with people from all over the world. When you start thinking directly in English, you will notice that your conversations become smoother. You will spend less time searching for words. You will feel more comfortable expressing your ideas. And most importantly, you will enjoy speaking English more and more every day. Now, let's talk about one more real-life situation. Imagine you are visiting a friend's house. You want to compliment their home. You could say, "Your house is beautiful. I love your garden," or "Thank you for having me." Simple, kind sentences make conversations warm and natural. Also, practice talking about your family. It's a very natural and easy topic. You can say, "I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My parents live in Chicago," or "My wife is a teacher." And do not forget, practice, practice, practice. Even 5 minutes a day can make a big difference. Talk about what you see, what you do, and what you think, all in English. Little by little, you will stop translating and start living in English. Conclusion. The final secret. We have explored so many ways to stop translating and start thinking directly in English. We've talked about narrating your day, having small conversations in real-life situations, practicing with simple stories, and building your confidence step by step. All of these techniques are designed to help you make English a natural part of your life. But as I promised at the beginning, there is one final simple secret that brings all of this together. The secret is this: fluency is not achieved in big dramatic study sessions. It's built in the small, quiet moments of your day. It's in the English thought you have while you're brushing your teeth. It's in the simple English sentence you say to yourself while you're cooking dinner. It's in the shopping list you decide to write in English. It's in the one new phrase you learn from a song and try to use later. When you start to fill these small, empty moments of your day with a little bit of English, you are building the habit of thinking in English without even trying. You are making it a part of who you are. So, my challenge to you is this. For the next week, find one small daily moment where you can insert some English. Maybe you'll decide to narrate your morning coffee routine every day. Or maybe you'll describe one thing you see on your way to work. Choose one small moment and make it your English moment. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom English podcast channel to watch our next videos.